This video brought to you by the Trust Company. Upon her retirement in early 1958, Executive Director Linda Clark transcribed some of her memories during her tenure. This is the first segment of those memories. 1950 through 1951. It's not what life brings to you that matters, but how you take it. That was a spirit demonstrated at the Progressive Club Party and Dance, which was this director's time of introduction to the members of the Toledo Society for the Blind. There were several blind musicians, forming their own orchestra and led by Aubrey Foreman. These monthly social gatherings fulfilled a need for relaxation and fun. For many, it was their only social life. Transportation to their homes was furnished by the local Lions Club members and had been practiced for many years. During the first 25 years of the organization of the Society for the Blind, many methods of meeting the needs and welfare had been established and must be continued. We were also happy to receive donations for some of these needs and for the social gatherings. Inheritances received were invested for the time when it was possible to build a larger quarters. The yearly financial assistance from the Lions Club made the welfare program possible. There were constant requests for eye operations, artificial eyes, white canes, funeral expenses, glasses for the partially blind, radios for the needy blind, and sometimes food. The week of camp had been a yearly highlight, and ways and means for continuing must be found. Reading back through the records of the camp, it is interesting to note the difficult situations that were met. In 1940, there was sugar rationing, but each camper brought their own syrup, blankets, and some other supplies. In the next 2 years, help came from the Lions Club, the Delta Gamma sorority, Jim Tyler, and a few other individuals. The Progressive Club raised $100 for camp, and volunteers continued to count sales tax stamps for redemption. The Zonta Club started a yearly contribution of $200. Due to the splendid work done by the blind in the workshop during the war years, orders kept coming in from industry for small packaging and assembly work. Many were all ready to do this work, and more were found who desired to work, as calls were made in the homes. As many as possible to accommodate were brought in and trained. Working space was limited. Factories and industries were visited in our effort to place blind workers there. Too many hazards were found everywhere to make it feasible to place the blind in regular employment. It must also be the aim to bring adequate work to the society and provide space for work. The State Rehabilitation Department gave the society a contract for training blind from outside of the Toledo area in rug weaving. This instruction was paid for by the state, and one of our own skilled weavers, William Godfrey, became the teacher. About this time, the Union Station was completed and dedicated. Excitement rang high, and the blind were no exception. A large group of them were taken by the chartered community traction buses from the society to the new station, which there was a personally conducted tour of the tracks. There was a special broadcast for them telling them of the points of interest along the way. It was given by the junior members of the Chamber of Commerce, and the narrator was soon recognized as John Clairmount, the son of Mr. and Mrs. Clairmount, both blind and members of the Toledo Society. Increasing requests for participation and publicity for the community chess campaign and the National Employ the Handicapped Week continue to be met as in previous years. There were talks in schools, churches, clubs, and nursing groups. There were sidewalk interviews, demonstrations of abilities by the blind, and radio broadcasts. Rugs were also placed on display at the LaSalle department store and at the Toledo Women's Building.